It's a difficult fighting in a very dense, populated area. Hamas is using his own people as human shields. This is something that is so hard to digest to the civilized mind, that somebody will use his own children as human shields. But so we're going door to door, and they're hiding in the terror tunnels. So it makes it a very difficult fight. But we have to go on. It will take apparently some time. But the end result can only be one, which is eliminating Hamas military capabilities in order to make sure what happened on October 7th will never happen again.
Overnight, several UN special rapporteurs issued a statement saying they're concerned that Palestinians are at grave risk of genocide. Very strong statement from the United Nations overnight. What would be your response to that, Mr. Lapid?
Well, we are worried as well. But the question should be directed at Hamas, not at us. We didn't initiate this. We didn't want this war. We are protecting our own people against a murderous terror organization that is killing the innocent, and we have no other choice. What are we supposed to do? What would Australia do if somebody will invade its territory and kill babies, the elderly, women, and civilian or innocent civilians? So yes, I think the people of Gaza are in peril, the same as the people of Israel. Or we are all being threatened and killed by a terror organization.
There has been international condemnation of the bombing of the refugee camp. How were people in that refugee camp able to move away before that bombing? Many children there, we understand, have been killed in that bombing. Did Israel do enough to ensure that civilians were protected?
Well, first of all, I would be very careful with the reports coming from Gaza, because Hamas controls the report, and they've been lying all along. I assume the example of the hospital, they told everybody it was bombed by the Israelis and 500 people were killed. It turned out it wasn't bombed by the Israelis and 50 people were killed. So, if a terror organization that is killing babies, do you think it will be beneath them to lie in reports? So we have to be very careful about the reports. Again, we are fighting Hamas in a very dense populated area, and there's going to be casualties. Of course, we are sorry. We have no fight with babies. We have no fight with civilians. We are doing our best to avoid hurting the civilians. This is exactly the difference between a terror organization and a law-abiding democratic country. But the war is a war. We saw the kind of casualties we had fighting ISIS, we meaning the civilized world, and we have the same problems fighting Hamas. These are very, very organizations.
I'm sorry to interrupt. The IDF has confirmed, though, that it was responsible
Sure.
for both those strikes on the refugee camp.
Say again?
The IDF has confirmed that it was responsible for both those strikes on the refugee camp, though?
Yeah, I didn't say we didn't bomb the refugee camp. I just said that you have to be careful with the reports about the number of casualties and who they were. I'm not saying for a second that this is not a war and we don't have casualties in this war. This is part of the problem fighting a terror organization that's using its own people as human shields. People find it very hard to digest, this concept of human shields, of using your own children as a weapon in a war. But so we find it sometimes it's very hard to explain this. Again, I'm saying I'm acknowledging the fact that the innocent are suffering, and I'm urging you to direct the questions about it to Hamas.
Mr. Lapid, our Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has said that Israel certainly has the right to defend itself, but he is concerned that the civilian toll, and indeed other international leaders are concerned about the growing civilian toll in Gaza. Is Israel heeding these international concerns? Yes, but I'm not sure we need this, because we are concerned to begin with. This is not something we want to do. This is not a war we wanted to be engaged in. This was forced upon us. And part of the problem we have going into this war is the fact that we want to do our best in order to avoid hurting the civilians who are and the bystanders. So I appreciate the fact that the Australian government has a moral stand. We share the same moral stand. We don't want to hurt those people. And right now, both Israelis and the people of Gaza are victims of Hamas.